we are going to be looking at a Doomfist player. He plays on King's Row. We're going to be seeing if we can give him any advice. He says that he's struggling a bit. He doesn't know what more he can do. And it's possible that maybe there's nothing more he can do in his games. He's doing everything he can. And the way ranked works is just some games you really can't do anything. And especially because there's so many problems with the ladder right now. It's a really it's in a bad state, the ladder. But you're positioning here in the hotel, and I'm guessing you're going to try and punch someone as they come in. Also, your name is GenjuDeity. I think that's kind of a play on GenjuDeity, to the name of a popular streamer, Doomfist streamer called GetQuakeOn. Worth checking out if anyone is interested in rollouts. Really nice punch there onto the Lucio. So you wait for them to come in, and then you went in. It's a good plan. Doomfist is really effective on King's Row in this way, on defense especially. Slightly less on attack. He's generally a good hero on defense because you can position on these places, hide somewhere, and then wait for the enemy to come. Whereas on attack, you kind of have to burn your cooldowns. It's a bit more difficult. So here, you go for the arc slam. You might have wanted to go for the direct slam, but you get the kill with the Genji anyways, so good job. Direct slam is obviously quicker, and when I say direct slam, I mean the indicator slam. When you see the indicator, you normally have to jump to get that kind of slam, and it's quicker, but it does less damage than arc slam, because arc slam you remain longer in the air, and the longer you remain in your slam animation, the more damage you rack up. So you go into the Ana, because she's used her sleep on the Roadhog, so it's a good time to go in. Nice job, you use your ult here because you know you're about to die. You get a lot of value. You managed to take out 2 of them. Really nice work. That's a pretty good dive. Just didn't quite manage. But this is a good position as well on the high ground. Interesting use of abilities, going in with the slam first, followed by the punch, and then the uppercut. Looks like you just didn't quite manage to hit the target when you went for the slam. It's quite difficult when you go for a direct slam to turn quickly enough. And that's something that can happen, is that sometimes you go in so fast that you don't have the time to really turn yourself to hit the target. Nice job getting the kill with the Ana. So you got rezzed by the Mercy and you went in. Got quite a high value target. Ana is generally quite a good target, although you always have the risk of being slept, so you always want to go from an unpredictable direction. And your team manages to push them back off point. So nice job there. You helped a lot by killing the Ana there. You're at 70% ult charge, so not bad. But the enemy team does have the Genji ult, the Rhino as well. So they should have the upper hand, really. Unfortunately, you missed the slam again, but it doesn't matter because you managed to kind of bait out the flash and get cover behind the wall, which is something you can do with Cree. Cree can, in theory, be a counter to Doomfist, but it's not really you can outplay him because he has very limited mobility. He's also been nerfed a bit in the recent patch. His flashbang, not his flashbang, his roll. The distance of his roll has been reduced a little bit, and also hit scan is being changed to be less strong in the next patch. It's on experimental right now. So this is nice. You managed to get back with your team. You died, but because Doomfist has so much mobility, you got back with your team. And you're going to go for a flank around, which is good. You don't want to go from the front, you go from behind. Nice. Really good job there. So you went in with the slam first, I think, and then you punched, then you uppercut. And it looks like you used that combo quite a few times. Really nice work there. So like you're getting a massive amount of work done. You're basically hard carrying here. I haven't seen you made any major mistakes like with a hero as far as your engagements and things. You've been pretty perfect like with your engagements. It's really nice work, and you're on fire. So you're doing really well. You don't quite manage to get the range with the slam, so that's the problem with the arc slam. You do get more damage, but you can't guarantee that you land the hit. So that's one thing. One situation where you might want to use the direct slam. So you got into this area. Your mercy died first, so it was probably a lost fight. But you did manage to get quite a lot of wild charge off, so that's fine. You played quite aggro. Which is good because you got ult charge, and you're going to be able to respawn quickly enough to recontest this because the payload still has a bit of distance to go, and you also almost have your ult charge, so you should try and get your ult, do whatever is necessary to get the ult, like burst all of your abilities here. Nice, really close. Okay, you got really close to your ult, but you didn't quite manage to get it off. Cree killed you before you managed to get the ult. So I can just rewatch that very quickly. You went in with the slam uppercut, and you try and get these primary fires. I don't know if I would have tried to get the primary fires off. Like if you're almost at your ult charge, like if you're almost at your ultimate, just a few percent off, then you might as well just burst all of your combos, like all of your abilities, in order to get the ult. Then you can then when you're in the ult form, you can recharge your abilities. It doesn't matter. It's not a waste. So they managed to take the point, unfortunately. Nice job there. You perfectly timed your slam to wait for the Zarya bubble to expire. Really well played so far, anyway. Doomfist is a really fun hero, like probably the most fun hero in the game. There's so much ability, so much burst damage potential. This is unfortunate. You went in, didn't quite. Oh, really unfortunate. You didn't quite manage to finish off Yana, but it was a good aggro play. It was a good play. You just kind of got unlucky, and now their team is kind of chasing you a bit. When they do that, especially in low ranks, they can chase you a lot. Like go far behind, and they'll keep chasing you, and it will waste their time. Sometimes I just go far back, like keep going back through the map, and they'll keep chasing me. Because I'm on Doomfist, I can basically out distance them. They can never keep up with me. So you swapped with Hanzo. I think kind of you think maybe the Cree is being a bit of a problem, and that's fine. You were doing very well on the Doomfist though, so it wouldn't. I don't think it would have been a problem even if you did stay on him. So here you kind of mispositioned a little bit. You kind of exposed. Maybe you should have gone a little bit behind this wall, like position, so you have very easy access to the cover, rather than in the center. But that's kind of unfortunate. It's more of a team diff. You're not the problem here. It's very likely it's your team. So far, you've played very well. And this is now you're on attack. You're playing Doomfist on attack. He's quite a bit more difficult to play on attack. Um, but it's still absolutely viable. Totally possible to play him. You kind of missed the turn punch. Doesn't really matter. going to go for the high ground, maybe go for a flank behind them. So you take a bit of damage. Now your team is pushing them, but you're not really you're not doing anything now. And this is something when it's the first push, that is when you want to get aggressive and cause as much chaos as you can, because that builds up your ult charge. You don't want to play this passively when it's the first push. I think what you're thinking is maybe I want to wait for my team to make an opening for me and get a pick for me, but you can't really do that. You have to be the playmaker and can't rely on your team, unfortunately. So I would have really just gone in right now because you're waiting a long time. You know the Hanzo is kind of aware of you. Unfortunate, he evades you. When it comes up, when it comes to Hanzo, I think you probably know the matchup. You know, it's more of a we want to punch in and then uppercut, and then slam to wherever he uses his leap to. You want to do that with quite a few of the ability heroes. The matchup is kind of similar. Nice job there. So you went for the punch and the uppercut. So yeah, Anna is someone to be aware of as well with the sleep. Like you can be in line of sight with his area, and so then you get the bubble, so you can't get snapped. But really, when it comes to playing with your Zarya, it's kind of if it's a random player, then they might not want to coordinate with you, so it's kind of difficult. Kind of unfortunate there you got killed by the McCree. He was crouching, so you probably didn't hear his noises. But yeah, it was just well played by the McCree. Not really your fault. Nice job here. Really nice combination with the Reinhardt Shatter. I didn't expect you to live here, but that was well played. So the Lucio kind of messes up your engagement, but it's fine. I think your team has the upper hand here. Like you're 5 against about 3. The enemy team is still respawning, and they have a long respawn, so they're quite aggro here. You can keep pushing. Another thing you can do is you can go into the roofs. You can do kind of strange rollouts here. Unfortunate you missed the punch. Doesn't matter. So yeah, you get stunned by the McCree. That McCree is being a bit of a problem for you. You want to be aware of your Zarya in line of sight with your Zarya and maybe try and go from behind. But it's quite difficult when they know to look out for you. It's quite difficult. But I can commend you for staying on the Doomfist because you don't want to swap just because of one counter. Like if that McCree's committing a lot of his resources to you, that means you can't commit anything to the rest of your team. So it's not as simple as if you get countered, then you have to swap. Like you don't have to. That's kind of unfortunate, but you get the Zarya. The good thing about the fact that you got the Zarya is the Zarya has a very long respawn distance and no mobility abilities to get back to the point quickly, whereas you are on 250 you have a lot more mobility. So you can easily get back to the fight much more quickly. I think you're watching out for the McCree, but you really want to go in aggro here because you and your team have the upper hand. You don't want to wait for them to have time to get to respawn. Nice job there, even though you got the stun. I think you got stunned, right? Okay, he hasn't used his flashbang. So you're aware of that kind of. You don't want to go in the McCree, it's fine. Go on to the Anna. Really nice work there. You created a lot of distraction, which is something you should do with Doomfist, is distract the enemy as much as possible and let your team go in while you distract them, create the opening. But then it does fall onto your teammates to do the rest of the work. They have to push in. Like, they should have won the fight, probably, but they don't, which means it's probably just a team diff. He swapped the Genji, that's fine. Maybe he thought you were getting countered, and Genji might be a more comfortable pick here. I think you're doing fine with the Doomfist overall, but this is also fine. I'm not a Genji player, so I can't really give tips about the hero specifically, but I can just talk about the game in general, see what you're doing here. That's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I see you trying to get back to your healers. Kind of unfortunate. But just be aware of where your healers are. If possible, try and stay in their line of sight. But it's difficult with Genji, like, you want to be the flanking character, so you can't always stay in their line of sight all the time. Nice, your team wins the team fight. Good job there going in on Zarya. Like, you don't want to, even though he has bubble, you want to quickly finish him off. No need to delay that. You should be able to get this point. Like, they shouldn't be able to contest this. You're quite quick to use your deflect. Maybe be a bit more sparing. Like, you know, you had the bubble of his area, so you could have played a bit more like without using the deflect, but it's fine. You're kind of spamming your shurikens, trying to get your ult charge up, which is really good. But you do have a very short time bank. That's something to be aware of. Is your time bank is so short, you need to play aggressively here. If you want to have any chance of winning, you need to play this aggressively. And basically, you can't really stand around. But it also depends on your team very much. It's not your fault. Your team also needs to push with you and play this aggressively. And here you're kind of just looking around, dallying around. Maybe not the best plan because you're so short on time. You really want to do something. Just try and do anything, it doesn't really matter. Unfortunate, but you do get the rest. This is nice. Feeling good. You get two with your dragon blade and another one with your shurikens. Get another one. Nice, nice job. Really nice job. You basically got the 5k, I think. The enemy team has Bastion. This is the hero that you want to focus yourself. And you wouldn't have known that they have Bastion unless you were pressing tab, maybe. So yeah, like check your tab screen frequently for any switches. Nice work there on the Tracer. But unfortunately the Bastion takes your team out and then you lose the game. So really, I think maybe you should have focused the Bastion. Like, it's not your fault at all that you lost, it's the team diff, but your team was really struggling with the Bastion. They probably should have positioned a bit better, but you are probably the only person to be able to deal with the Bastion. Overall, it's really well played. I think you're at least diamond level, maybe higher. Uh, your mechanics are very good, your engagements are very good. The only thing I saw is sometimes you were kind of standing around a bit, not doing very much. So maybe play a bit more aggressively on attack. Yeah, your Doomfist was excellent, really well played. Like, even I learned something from watching that. So thanks for the replay code. This is the replay code if anyone else wants to take a look. So I've played quite a lot of Doomfist myself. 120 hours on this account. The the highest I got with him was Master in Season 17. And then I kind of stopped grinding damage roll as much. So yeah, I'm not that high on him anymore. But if I grinded him more, I could probably get higher. But yeah, it was good to watch another Doomfist player. And I'm also gonna, in the description, I'm gonna leave a link to give you some advice for like matchups, especially against McCree. McCree was being a bit of a problem for you. Maybe something I can give you some. I had a session with Get Quaked On, the popular streamer, and he also gave me some tips of dealing with McCree, especially like using turn punch to evade his like kind of bait out his flashbang. That's something you can definitely do against McCree. So I'll send you the link to that as well. And if I can think of anything else, anything more you could have done, yeah, there's nothing else that is coming to my mind right now. But thank you for watching.